What's up, guys? I'm the Mighty Maso T. Now, check this out. I'm a huge Avengers fan. The Incredible Hulk is my favorite character. And if there's one thing that I've noticed about this game, it's that the Hulk does not get any love when it comes to his skins. And after watching them put out the Endocin armor, I need some justice. Because a lot of these Hulk skins, like the latest one, the little Hawaii outfit, they just not hitting for me. So I decided to put together a list of what I feel like are 20 of the skins that fans might want the most. And maybe just to show the devs, maybe they just don't know that the Hulk has so many different looks they could incorporate into the game. So again, I just put together a little list, and 3 of the characters on this list aren't necessarily Bruce Banner Hulks, but for argument's sake, if you guys aren't going to put them in the game as their own characters, they could very easily be substituted as Hulk skins. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and knock 2 of those characters out. I'm gonna save the 3rd for last, just because I like suspense. So the first character on the list would be the Devil Hulk. Now you could go with his original form, his Brian Banner, absorbing a whole bunch of hate form, whatever. Or you could go with his newer iteration that was shown in the Immortal Hulk comic. I'm sure fans would be okay with either. I don't really think you could lose on that one, but that would be an amazing skin to have, be able to play as. The second character that's not technically Bruce Banner, but would be a pretty good replacement skin, would be the totally awesome Amadeus Cho Hulk. This was Marvel's attempt at making Amadeus Cho an Incredible Hulk. And I mean, it was cool. It wasn't one of my favorite stories, but seeing as in the comics, Amadeus, was always the Hulk's biggest fan. I thought it was kind of cool that he, got to be a Hulk. So another Hulk that I think needs to be a skin is the Immortal Hulk. And there's already a costume that has a darkish green tint to it. I feel like you could take that costume, maybe highlight the veins in his arms and his hands and on his knuckles and things and his neck, make them a little bright green, and then give Hulk the same type of eyes that you gave Superior Iron Man, but make them green. And you got Immortal Hulk. There's also a newer version of the Immortal Hulk that just released in the comics, where he's fused with Joe Fixit Red Hulk. And basically the same concept, except instead of having bright green veins and eyes, you would just switch them to red. So that's a way that could be done. Another costume that I feel like definitely needs to be in here is the Professor Hulk. And I feel like this is just really an absolute must. And not even because he's one of my favorite costumes, it's just Professor Hulk has so much history in terms of Marvel Comics in general. And there's, a couple of different variations, but you got like the black, with the black tank top and the blue jeans, or like the white tank top with like the brown pants or something. You could, either one of those, but I definitely feel like those would be fan favorites. So, I definitely would like to see them in. Maestro. Now, you definitely did give us Maestro. But there are 2 other variations that I think people would like to see a little bit more, and it's this version of Maestro with the blue suit, with the the boots and the armor. He just kind of looks like a future dystopian ruler. And then this other version of Maestro, where he's got like the crown carved out of bone or whatever, and the bone necklaces and stuff like that. He looks like he looks really awesome. So I think those are 2 outfits that people would most definitely like to have. Another outfit, skin, whatever you want to call them, that I think is an absolute must. And funny enough, this character also gets confused with Professor Hulk a lot, would be Doc Green. This version of the Hulk is a version that was given the Extremis and basically turned the Incredible Hulk into a super genius. He retained Bruce Banner's intellect, maybe a little bit higher, while in his Hulk form. And fun fact, he also went and trained with Iron Fist for like 6 months. So this Hulk also knows martial arts. So yeah. Another Hulk skin that I feel like should be added, and this would just draw in the curiosity factor, because almost nobody knows who this version of the Hulk is, but Claw. Now, I'm not going to sit here in front like I know a lot about this version of the Hulk, but to my knowledge, apparently this version came about when the Hulk hulked out for some reason or another. But go look it up. I have no idea what's going on with this, but it looks awesome. And simply for that one reason, throw it in there. Throw it in there, because who doesn't want to run around smashing enemies as Claw? So another skin I think that needs to be in here is there was a time in Marvel Comics where the mutant Apocalypse grabbed the Hulk and outfitted him with celestial armor and turned him into one of his 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. I feel like this Hulk definitely needs to be in here. It's a Hulk that, I think was only seen in comics for maybe 2 or 3 panels. I don't think he was seen very often. But this Hulk also did something which I think maybe one other person has done, which was stop the Juggernaut after he's gotten full momentum with purely, physical strength. So I definitely feel like he deserves a spot on this list, if for any other reason that he just looks really cool. Another Hulk skin I feel like, deserves a spot in this game would be the Indestructible Hulk. And this is a Hulk that basically is a WMD for S.H.I.E.L.D. Bruce Banner basically cut a deal with S.H.I.E.L.D. that he would do some work for them if S.H.I.E.L.D. could use the Hulk to take down, very hard to take out targets. But I think having an armored Hulk running around would just kind of be cool, and it'd be kind of like another variation on, your Tony Stark armor, S.H.I.E.L.D. issued Hulk armor. So who doesn't want that? Now, I'm not sure if this is the actual name of this Hulk variation, but the only thing I could find on this is what would be known as the Aboriginal Hulk. Now, again, I don't know much about this one either, really anything. I just think he looks awesome. Bald Hulk, white eyes, and a whole bunch of tribal war tattoos. And he carries around a spear. Like, yeah, yes, I definitely want that. So definitely throw on the Aboriginal Hulk. Another Hulk that I feel like personally definitely deserves a spot, again, solely for how awesome they look, and just because I really liked the story that followed this variation, is a Hulk that I like to personally call the Moloid King. And this is basically a version of the Hulk that looks like, if you could imagine Conan the Barbarian if he transformed into the Hulk. And he's just got really long, shaggy hair like the Winter Soldier, and just like a full beard like a biker, and like, bone necklaces, and like these, wrap things on his arms, and he looks really, really like cool. He looks really cool. And there's one variation on the game that's similar to it, but I think this would be a really good addition to the game. And so for this next one, I'm not even going to go to a long drawn out thing about it because it speaks for itself. Marvel Zombies Hulk. Okay. Next one on the list is Cosmic Hulk. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, I believe it was the leader and like MODOK, maybe somebody else, I think, created like a robot that was powered by the power cosmic, which is basically the same thing that Galactus and the Silver Surfer used. But instead of doing things like manipulating time and warping reality, it's solely channeled to pure physical strength. I think this is a Hulk that would be really cool to add, and you could also use the skin for this with the Marvel Zombies Hulk. And what I mean by this is this Hulk is missing half of its face, and some of its arm. There's pieces of its skin missing on its chest and on its legs and things like that. And there's hints of metal shining through. Well, you take that same skin, and for the Marvel Zombies Hulk, you just change the coloring on all the metal pieces to something like, red or, some kind of rotting greenish color, and boom. So you could definitely run that like that. Another skin I think needs to be in the game that I think fans would like would be Captain Universe Hulk. You guys gave us like some kind of big half-transformed Santa Claus Hulk, which I guess is pretty cool. But I think Captain Universe Hulk, if we're going to have any kind of blue Hulk, should be a Hulk. And this is, again, a story that I'm not entirely familiar with, but for some reason, or, whatever, the Hulk, Captain Universe bestowed his powers upon the Hulk. And, I mean, if you know how strong the Hulk truly is, then having Captain Universe give him his powers a truly, truly terrifying thought. Now this, you know what? I'm gonna wait for this one. So this costume is solely for comedic purposes. This is just for sole comedy. Now there is a comic in which General Thaddeus Ross, the Red Hulk, and Bruce Banner, the Green Hulk, got fused together, and they have to go through basically fighting some enemies as a merged Hulk. And for no other reason than I think it would be awesome to just smash people as a red and green Hulk, I want this in here. Now we have like a couple of Hulks left, and these versions of the Hulk, you guys, are the versions that I personally feel are the most wanted, that fans have asked for the most since this game has come out. And so I'm going to go ahead and start it with Fear Itself, the Worthy Hulk. Now there's a story called Fear Itself in which Thor's father Odin, his brother Cole, basically summoned 7 hammers like Thor's hammer Mjolnir to Earth, in which 7 worthy people picked these hammers up, and they all basically had transformations akin to what Thor's transformation is. Well, the Incredible Hulk was one of the people who picked up these hammers, and when he did, he transformed into what is known as Null, Breaker of Worlds. Now look, this Hulk is probably one of the coolest looking Hulks I have ever seen. And the story, my God, the story was just mind blowing in and of itself. But so yes, I feel like this Hulk is definitely a version of the Hulk that characters would absolutely lose their minds to play with. So even more than that though, well actually, I'm gonna say this next one just because it's the one I personally want the most. This is the skin that I want the most. And it's the One Below All Celestial Hulk. And in the Immortal Hulk storyline, there is a couple of panels where they show the Hulk in the future after he has been possessed by the cosmic entity known as the One Below All. And he basically becomes a giant celestial who floats through space, destroying planets and consuming all life. And the suit, it looks so amazing. And I know you guys can't make it, that size. Nobody's asking for that, but I just think having, a Hulk running around with like celestial armor, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, maybe glows with like glowing green eyes would be absolutely mind-blowing. So that's my personal favorite. That's the one I want the most. But as far as the fans, I think these two are by far the most requested Hulk skins ever. So the first one would be the World War Hulk skin from the famous World War Hulk comic, in which after being banished to the planet Sakaar, the Hulk comes back and he is pretty much beats down every superhero in the Marvel community that was on Earth at that point. And yeah, so I think that skin is something that every single person who has read that story has been dying to use or dying to play as on some kind of Hulk game. They just want to be World War Hulk on some Hulk game. And I think this would be the perfect game to do that. But if there was one skin above that I think every Hulk fan wants, it's probably the strongest iteration of the Hulk that we have seen. And that would be the World Breaker Hulk. The World Breaker Hulk skin. And you guys gave us something similar to this, but I don't even think it would be, you know, anything that difficult to do. You make them super, you know, green, like lime green, you know, highlighter green, and, you know, give them the glowing green eyes. Maybe, you know, highlight the veins, make them like a little darkish green, and boom, you know, World Breaker Hulk. I think, and I could be wrong, but I personally think that skin would slap. And for those of you guys who don't know that term, it just means I think that skin would do very well, or would be very much enjoyed. So, and the very last skin, the very last character who technically is not Bruce Banner, but I feel like absolutely deserves a spot on this list, as much, if not more, than almost every other skin I've listed, would be General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, the Red Hulk. I think if any Hulk skin needs to be on this game, I think it needs to be Red Hulk. And I mean, why would you not? Like, if you're not going to put him in the game as his own playable character, definitely give us his skin. And again, you guys gave us something similar to it, but you know, he's got like a weird green tinge in there. He looks weird. And you know, there's like two different variations you could give us. Like, you could give us the version where he's got all gray hair and he's, you know, wearing what is it? His aviators, and he's got like his white mustache, but he's still in Red Hulk form. Or you can give us his traditional, you know, first seen in comics form, where he's just, you know, super swollen. He's got the dark red, the dark black hair, and the big blazing yellow eyes, and he's spitting fire, that kind of thing. And you could even make it so, you know, his when the Hulk is going in rage and he's got those fumes coming off of him and they're green, well, whenever you are playing with Red Hulk, instead of them being green fumes, he's coming off with fire. You know what I'm saying? You could just, that could be a thing. So, but that is who, you know, as a Hulk fan, these are skins that I feel like any and every person who has been reading Incredible Hulk comics for any length of time, I feel like any of these, you know, people have wanted to play as in some point in time or another. And I feel like it's kind of upsetting that a lot of these skins are not in here. There's plenty of source material to, you know, look through and find variations of skins that you can do for the Incredible Hulk. And I feel like this game definitely needs that. because, you know, Iron Man, Captain America, you know, Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, everybody else is getting love with their costumes, and they're getting really good, well thought out things, and the Hulk is just kind of getting slapped with whatever, and it's really going to, you know, push a lot of the Incredible Hulk fans off of the game. So, but that's just my personal opinion. You know, again, I'm a huge Hulk fan. You know, he's my favorite Marvel character. But yeah, that's my list. Let me know what you guys think. You know, are there any Hulk, you know, skins or outfits that you like to see in the game that I didn't mention? Out of the list, you know, what do you want to see in the game the most? If you had to, you know, top 5 out of who I listed, you know, who would your top 5 be? Throw them down in the comments, and let's talk about it. But as far as that goes, man, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, turn on the bell to get those notifications. I'm the Mighty Amaso T, and I'll catch you guys later.